in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Dibble Institute's second Wednesday webinar. This is Kay Reed, the Executive Director of the Dibble Institute, and we're so pleased to welcome so many of you here to this webinar. The purpose of today's webinar is to get to know the Dibble Institute better. This is an orientation. We found that there were many new people who were coming our way, and we want to be welcoming and open, and so this is our virtual open house. So we'll be going over our website as we go through this webinar, from like the 40,000 foot level, really understanding the rationale and what we do and why we do it, all the way to boots on the ground by the end of the hour. So I'd like to give a special welcome to all the newcomers who are on this conference call, people in pregnancy prevention, family and consumer sciences, health teachers, those who work with teen parents, in violence and sexual assault prevention, foster youth, et cetera, et cetera. What we all have in common, even though those sound like very, very different fields, is that we want to do the best by our teens and our young adults. We really, we have our own focus, but that's really what gathers us together here, is really having an impact and helping young people be successful in their lives. So we're all here in the Dibble Institute, and we invite you in as well, because we think an important part of that is helping young people get smart about their relationships and learn the skills to build healthy relationships. And we'll go over a little later how those, what impacts we're seeing in our results. But so this is just to say welcome. And I want to let you know here on this slide, there's some just housekeeping tips. If you are cut off by some reason from the computer, you're welcome to call in. And we will be, we do want to hear your questions. We have a very full schedule today, but if you write in your questions as you go along, we will have different Dibble staff doing the presentations, and we will answer questions at the end of each of their presentations. And if there are more specific questions to your situation or questions we can't get to, we will certainly find you and answer those questions. So let's get going. As I said, I'm Kay Reed. I'm the Executive Director of the Dibble Institute. And with me today, and Kathy, you can go to the next slide, are Irene Varley. Irene is the person who helps with who organizes our trainings and does a lot of, she's a master Dibble trainer herself, has been with us for about 10 years. And then the next person is Aaron, I think. Aaron was working on he has a lot of experience in the field of family life and marriage. He comes to us many years in the field. He works on our products and our revisions, does a lot of work with our authors, and we're really happy to have him on the team. The next person is Dixie. She's actually not here with us, but we wanted to introduce her. Dixie is coming back on a plane from Los Angeles, where she was working with CalWORKs, our TANF recipients, on learning relationship skills as part of their community college program. So we send good wishes to Dixie for safe travels. And the last person and the engineer of today's broadcast as well is Kathy Guidry. Hi, Kathy. Oh, she probably muted herself. Okay,
Hi.
so she muted herself, so I'll say hi. Oh, there you are. Okay, so Kathy is the one, when you call our 800 number, Kathy is the friendly voice that answers that and really works hard to make sure that everybody gets what they need from the Dibble Institute. So if you go to dibbleinstitute.org on your browser, that's what we're going to be exploring today. And I'm going to go over two sections with you. One is about us, and the other one is why it matters. So let me take a little time on the Charlie Dibble story. I think in our invitation we talked about Dibble being a planting tool, and if you look it up, indeed, it's an obscure wooden implement used to plant bulbs. But Charlie Dibble actually is our founder. That's how we got the name. Charlie was an engineer by trade, worked in designing electrical engines for jets, and if you Google his name, you'll find he has several patents under his name. When he retired, excuse me, in the mid-60s, he came back to his hometown, Redlands, California, which is also my hometown. That's where I met him, and started doing work with youth. So he ran my church youth group. He also helped organize summer night rock concerts, and he started a junior achievement chapter. And when the local Boys and Girls Club executive left, he stepped in as an interim. So Charlie was really involved with young people in his second career. It was in the the mid-80s when he went to his grandniece's wedding that the concept of the Dibble Institute was formed. Because imagine, here's this fluffy bride in her white dress and her beloved great uncle. We don't know what he said to her, but in response, she said, "Oh, don't worry, Uncle Charlie, it's just my first wedding." So imagine that. Imagine that you're looking at this young person. It's like this happy day of her life, and she is expecting it not to go well. So Charlie said he'd also seen with his other young friends that when their family started going into distress, when their parents were having issues and troubles, that their own trajectories, the young people's trajectories, would change. So Charlie, being an engineer and a fix-it kind of guy, went to the researchers of the day, this is like the late 80s, and asked them two simple questions. He asked them what they knew about strengthening families and building strong, healthy relationships, and they could tell him a lot. The field of family life and relationship education was just starting. But when he asked them, well, what are you doing to communicate that to young people, very, younger, before they're engaged, before they're even dating perhaps, they would just shrug their shoulders and say, that's hard work. So Charlie brought 6 of us around his dining room table. Now we're in the early 90s, and said, I have a dream. I think we should be able to translate research into teaching tools that we make available to others so that every young person in America has the opportunity to take a relationship skills class and learn. So on their wedding day, they're not thinking this is just my first wedding. So the Dibble Institute is now a national independent nonprofit. And our mission, so we have our own board of directors, we're not affiliated with any other organization. Our mission is to equip young people with the skills and knowledge they need to develop healthy romantic lives now and in the future. So we focus on young adults from middle school up until their mid-20s, and sometimes even beyond that, depending on the circumstances. And just like Charlie's original vision, we take research and translate that into teaching tools that are easy to use, because we know that people who work with youth, and that would be most of you, it's hard. You have a lot on your plate, and so getting something that's ready to go certainly makes it easier to teach. In the last 2 years, we're thrilled to say we did a conservative count of the number of people who had purchased our programs and how many people that they had reached. And we believe that in the last couple years, over 170,000 youth have been reached with a Dibble program. That's certainly much more than the 5 of us could do on our own. So you are on our team. And if you're not on our team yet, we hope you figure out a way to come onto our team, because we think this is really important work and really important in assuring young people's success. Most recently, we're particularly pleased that the American Association of Publishers recognized one of our programs that we just revised, Healthy Choices, Healthy Relationships, as it's with a Golden Lamp Award. We were the winner in the category of supplemental material resources for 2015. So our competition was like National Geographic and the Girl Scouts and all these other really wonderful organizations. So we are thrilled that we and Shar Camper, the author of that program, received that recognition, because it's a really great tool. I also want to mention that the Dibble Institute was inducted to the SNI 100 list, the Strategic Impact Exchange, because of our ability to use evidence-based programming, to go to scale, and to be effective. And that's really due to you, our range of clients. We have people from Planned Parenthood, and we have people from the abstinence world use our programs. We have people from churches. We have people from YMCAs use our programs. So there's a lot of people, different kinds of people, who can find commonality around these relationship skills. Now, the Dibble Institute believes, let me go over some of our core kind of foundational thinking here. We believe in research. We believe in research two ways. And this, if you go over to the Why It Matters tab, you'll see some of this. But first of all, we build our programs based on current research. And as research changes, we will change. You know, we're not like leaves in the wind, but we do change as we learn as new information becomes available. So I won't go into it now, but where we were 20 years ago on cohabitation is much different than it is today, because there's much more study of that phenomenon and what is risky behavior and what is not. And there's a webinar, I'm sure, on that. So you're welcome to look at some of our other webinars on that. And so we build it on research. We are not ideologically based. The other way we use research is, forever since we started, we have been doing research on our programs. And you'll see in the handout area, I've put a summary. I put several documents there. One is a Dibble brochure. One is a summary of our research. And because what's interesting is, while Charlie had the idea that someday far in the future, these young people, when they develop families, when they build families, those families would be better off, and we still think that's the case. But we also know now through our research that that when you teach young people to get smart about their love lives, that there's immediate benefits. So we know, for instance, that violence is reduced. When you teach young people communication skills, conflict resolution, empathy, and other relationship skills, not only does the couple relationship improve, but on a population-wide basis, you can see violence decrease. We know that sexual behaviors change. And actually, one of our programs is just coming out of a Tier 2 pregnancy prevention study. We should have the results in the next 60 days. But basically, it comes as no surprise to adults that there's other ways to become intimate than taking off your clothes. But young people often don't know that. And they also don't know how relationships grow and develop over time, that those wonderful falling in love feelings, those infatuations, as fun as they are and as much as they should be enjoyed, they disappear because those are your brains on natural drugs. And over time, like in 6 months, you might see a person differently. So we just say, slow it down a little bit. Enjoy it, slow it down. And that is a preventative. And also, we know we have impact on young people's confidence to get and stay married. And actually, one of the findings is that bounce is higher for young people who are come from families that either aren't married or were divorced. So we know that we can change, we can move the dial a little bit on that front. So the second point is that we believe in stable, healthy families. And let me start with the word healthy. So of course, if a family is violent or abusive, if a couple or a circumstance is abusive of self or others or substances, that relationship, that family form needs to get help. They need to perhaps even dissolve. So this is not keeping families together at all costs. But we do know that many families that dissolve do so because of lack of skills. Maybe they aren't communicating, they aren't talking about what's important, they aren't having fun together. So there's lots of cases where we can prevent family dissolution. The second part is that today there are hundreds of thousands of single parents doing heroic work with their children, and we respect that. But I believe if you talk to them, they would tell you it's tough. It's tough raising a kid all by yourself. It's tough physically, it's tough emotionally, it's tough financially. And they often wish, and I know that there's been articles in the New York Times and other places that compare and contrast a together couple and a single mom. These single moms say, I wish it were different. Maybe I even regret some of my choices. So while we respect and honor the work of single parents, we often we know that they would often have made different choices. The other part of this is that young people, now there's a survey called Focus on the Future done up at the University of Minnesota that for the last 30 years has asked a representative sample of juniors and seniors in high school about their plans for the future. And one of those questions has to do with marriage and family life. And if I were to draw, if you think in your brain, a chart here, a line chart with a line for the gals, a line for the guys over 30 years, gals at the rate of 82 plus or minus percent and guys at the rate of 72 plus or minus percent are saying that a good marriage and family life is extremely, I'm going to underline that word, extremely important to them. So this work we do isn't about us imposing our values or our idea of success on young people. We're helping them get what they want. And this includes even inner city young people. Their Child Trends did an important study a couple years ago with a focus group with at-risk DC youth. And they aspired to long-lasting, healthy relationships, even marriage. And they could recite the words around what a healthy relationship was and gotten the vocabulary lesson for respect and trust and fun. But when asked if they thought they could actually do that, they said no, they didn't know the skills. So it gives me great comfort knowing that what we do, all of us collectively, is help young people achieve what they want for themselves. And finally, the Dibble Institute believes that all people need to be treated with respect. Forever, in the Dibble materials, we never assume the gender of a young person's partner in how we talk in the materials. And now, with the Supreme Court decision, it makes our materials even more relevant and timely because we've never had any assumptions about who your gender was, what the gender of your partner was. We also have scenarios that address gay and lesbian issues. So for instance, in one of our programs, Relationship Smarts Plus, one of the scenarios is where you're asking the young people to say, is this smart or not smart, and what value are you applying here? One of the scenarios is, my girlfriend wants to have sex, but I think our relationship is really too new and I want to get to know her better. She says, well, we're lesbians, we can't get pregnant, but I just don't feel comfortable. And so then you guide the discussion with that. So that's the kind of materials we have that can be used, or you can choose not to use them, up to you. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Irene. And Irene, we're going to be moving between different people's screens and actually being on the website. So it's going to take a few minutes, I think, between things. But Irene Varley, our Director of Education, is going to follow me and talk about the Dibble Institute's programs. Let me just say one more thing. So the Dibble Institute is funded. We give lots of our materials away, and we sell our materials, because that's how our economic engine works. Of course, we gladly accept donations, but our primary driver of our economic engine are sales we make, and we try to keep the cost as low and reasonable and affordable as possible. But that's just a disclaimer there on how we keep moving forward. Alrighty, Irene.
Oh, thanks, Kay. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon. I'm going to talk about the tools that we offer to help you make the right decision in choosing the right curriculum for you. And before I do that, I just want to point out on my screen here that Kay talked about us and why it matters, this previous. And I'm going to talk about our programs in general. There's not enough time to go in much detail with them, but just to give you some references as to selection. We have multiple programs that were developed to fit a variety of instructional settings, or your organization's goals, or the diversity of your audience. As I progress through this section, I'll show you the tools we've created to help you. In working with young adults and young and adolescents, we realize there's no one size that fits all when building healthy developmental skills. Economics, culture, family structure, not to mention individual maturation levels, challenge all of us. The Dibble Institute has met these challenges by offering programs with flexibility while maintaining standards driven by the current research. Our programs offer engaging instructional strategies that develop a young person's ability to make healthy relationship choices. Well, if I choose to click on our programs, oh, there it is. It pulls up a list of all of our programs. Now, if you're not familiar with the various programs we have, this is a good starting point because each of these programs have a short description and a link to their website. One particular program I just want to point out because so many times there are possible people, users who have no idea that we have Mike's Crush. And Mike's Crush is a program that offers help and relationship skills education for young people who are either on the autism spectrum, with Asperger's, or any other mental disabilities. And it helps to teach them about their friendship, romance, and safety. Has a very heavy emphasis on helping prevent them from becoming a stalker or becoming a victim of abuse. So that's just to let you know that. Now, on your control panel, there are handouts, and one of them is, excuse me, sorry about this. One of them is a chart. Gosh, I don't know what happened to this. Sorry. Egads. That, well, I kind of lost part of it, but your handout will have it, that shows a comparison. This is a quick and easy way to compare people for whom the curriculum is intended, settings that use the various curriculums, the intended dosage, and research summaries. So this is, had I worked, I don't know what on earth happened. This never happened before. Sorry about this. But this is Love Notes. Oh, there it is. And Love Notes is by Marlene Pearson, as well as Relationship Smarts Plus. These two programs are very similar, but are written for different audiences. And as you can see here, the Love Notes is for at-risk youth and young adults ages 15 to 24 or higher. We have some groups that are using this in residential settings or even in re-entry settings for older adults, and that they are making great impact with them. The emphasis is on the health of the relationship, and as that impacts the health and future outcomes of the children they have or will likely have. So that is at risk. And then the Relationship Smarts is primarily for grades 8 through 12, but there again, the setting can be used for multiple groups such as pregnancy prevention, sexual assault, alternative schools. It's endless, either between either of these two. Notice that Love Notes has 13 lessons and the minimum dosage of 8 hours. This is what we have determined to be effective given the research and also what we hear from our users. And to help with that dosage, let's say you only can give 8 hours, but you know that there are so many subjects that could take a whole course of the 13 lessons. One important way to expand that dosage is the use of our student journals. The student journals are our students even say, gosh, my mom or my dad should read this, because they see the importance of healthy relationships and all the work and the impact of those relationships on both themselves and on their parents as well. They can be used to start conversations with their parents or with a trusted adult, which is one of the main approaches here, is to develop and maintain a trusted adult relationship. And it's great for mentoring as well. So many uses for that student journal. And then also the research summaries, and we'll be looking at the web pages as well to see where we find that. And Kay has a handout that she alluded to that has a brief summary of the evidence of each of our programs. Then we're looking at connections, relationships and marriage, dating and emotions. And you'll see too here, there's a wide range of what grade level these are written for. The high school connections, relationships, and marriage are for older students because it emphasizes the committed relationship. Probably key content in this is that it offers 10 lessons on an experiential marriage, so that they get to go through the tasks required in marriage and see how they fare. Are they ready? Are they mature to handle these tasks required of them for a successful marriage? There's 20 lessons, 10 that develop the relationship, 10 that develop the marriage. Connections, dating, and marriage for a much younger group. We've had a lot of requests for younger audiences because we know today young people, very young, 5th, 6th grade, are concerned about their relationships. They are exposed to so much information, and isn't it being in relationship that they feel so much older and so much ready for it? But are they really ready for this? The curriculum takes them through readiness. 15 lessons, and again, minimum dosage of 8 hours. Let me take you to one of the pages of what to expect when you look into one of these curriculum. I'm going to take relationships and marriage. This is typical of what you would find when you look through here, and it offers various tools to help you make a decision. It gives you the grade levels, how many curriculum, and Shar Camper is our author, and it gives you a brief description. Over here on our right, on every page, we will give you more details. The course outline. An important tool to use to make a decision is a sample lesson. The sample lesson, which I'm going to pull up here, hopefully. Well, I don't know what happened to that. Anyway, the sample lesson will show you it is an exact lesson. There we go. Just took a while. It is an exact lesson from the curriculum. Let me try and pull this down. And it will, you can take it, download it, look at it. Does this teach you or relate to your teaching style? Is it fitting your audience? Does it meet your particular goals for your organization? Or maybe even if you have funding streams that have specific requirements. Will it fit that? It's a good way to test it out. And Kay alluded to evaluations, those general evaluations. Well, on this page, you can access all the evaluation summaries, excuse me, that have been done for this program, and pre and post tests, which are often asked for, that were used in the evaluation process. There's more about the author as well. So there are several tools there in making those decisions. But one last one, and I think important one, are correlations. We have correlations. If you're a FACS teacher, these correlations relate to the national standards for FACS teachers, health standards, national health, and national sex education classes. So depending on how you want to implement this program, you can find the standards that directly relate to it. And it could be that those standards are what you need to follow, are being called for, and we will actually list the standards and apply it to as they appear in each lesson. So that's about it for the overall use of our website. But I'm seeing here some revisions, and I'm going to ask Erin's help here. Erin, can you help us out and tell us a little bit about what to expect in changes for the fall?
Yeah, and actually, did you want me to go ahead? Oh, and now I'm getting okay. Need to mute Irene. Okay, now I'm not getting an echo.
Unmute.
And so, so we're really excited about the revisions that are coming out. We have the Connections, Relationships, and Marriage is one of the programs that we're doing some revisions on. I'm currently working with Shark Camper, and there's a couple of things that we're adding. One of them has to do with some of the soft skills that employers are letting teachers, legislators, et cetera, know that a lot of the young adults that are entering the workforce these days tend to be lacking some of the soft skills, specifically things like communication skills, conflict resolution skills. And as anyone in this field is familiar with, they know that when we teach relationship skills, those are some of the soft skills that we're also teaching. And so I'm working with Shar right now to help her to change some of the scenarios, add a few scenarios in, a few more examples of how the instructors can help the young people to understand that a lot of these soft skills that they're learning are ones that they can also apply in the workplace as well. Another thing that we're doing is we're updating the PowerPoints. We're making them a little bit more engaging. We're also, she has some amazing engaging activities. We're adding additional activities. We're adding music videos and video clips, and so very excited about it. We also are updating the some of the research and adding some of those references. And then her other program, Connections, Dating, and Emotions, we're also doing the same thing of updating the PowerPoint, adding additional engaging activities and music videos and the video clips as well. And then at the same time, I'm also working with our other author, Marlene Peterson, with her Love Notes program. And specifically with the Love Notes program, we are also adding in a lot of those scenarios to help the instructors to help these young adults understand that they really can use the soft skills that they're learning in the workplace. So one specific example that was reported to us by somebody teaching the Love Notes program was they had somebody come back from an interview, and they ended up actually getting the job. It was to become a forklift driver. There were over 200 applicants for this particular position. And after this individual got the job, he asked the employer, he said, "Why did you choose me out of all 200 people?" And he said, "Well, all the people that I interviewed, you were the only one who could really understand and really listen." And he reported back to the teacher. He said, "Hey, all that I did was I just used some of those skills that you guys have been teaching me." So we know that it's effective, and we just want to make it a little bit more intentional so that you can help them to learn those. And at this point, I think what we can do is we'll actually transfer the screen to me so that I can show some of the digital, because that's the other thing that we're excited about, is we've actually digitized most of our programs, and in digitizing them, it gives a lot of benefits for you, the facilitators. So it's really nice to be able to have the program that you're teaching just on your tablet. So rather than having to lug around a 3-inch binder, you literally are able to have all of your notes, access to all of the materials, you're able to access the PowerPoints, you're able to access the student journals. Everything just right there on a tablet computer or on a laptop. So let's say you forgot your instructor's manual at home, you're able to just pull it up right here. We also have our activity books. We've digitized those, so the hip hop dating guide and the skill sets activities. We also have the supplemental lessons, and the supplemental lessons are really nice for example, with Char's programs, Char has the Healthy Choices, Healthy Relationships program, as well as the Connections, Relationships, and Marriage, and the Connections, Dating, and Emotions. With her programs, she really doesn't cover the topic of sex. But if you really like her program and you did want to include that particular lesson, then from Marlene's Marlene's program of Relationship Smarts Plus, we have that lesson 10 that you can just purchase just that one lesson. And in terms of purchasing, the other advantage of digital is when you add that to the cart, pay the $20, then you have instant access. So as much fun as it is to wait for the FedEx guy to show up and to deliver your materials, by ordering it digitally, you're able to get it instantly. The other supplemental lesson that we have is Marlene has also in her Relationships Smarts Plus program has created one for teens, technology, and social media. And so that's something that is very relevant with today's youth of how can they use that tool of media in a way that strengthens their romantic relationships rather than damages it. So you can actually purchase just that lesson instead of the entire program if you wanted to. And then just another phenomenal lesson, it's called Possible Selves Tree Activity. It really helps the youth to understand kind of where they've come from, where they're going, get a vision of who they can become and how they can get there. So you can purchase that. But also with our curriculum, so let me click on the Relationship Smarts Plus so you can kind of see as you explore this, we have a couple of options for purchasing it. You can get a 3-year license, or if you're only going to be teaching the program for 1 year, then in essence you can get it for almost half off by just purchasing a 1-year license. The other advantage of digital is as we update it, so anyone who purchases a digital of the 3 programs that we're revising right now, as soon as those are ready, then it immediately refreshes it on the digital in this digital platform so that you get the most up-to-date version. Versus if you purchase a print curriculum, then we'd have to send you we're able to work out ways to make it possible so that you can get the revision, but you end up having to pay a little bit more. Versus with this, what's nice is that it's just included in the price of purchasing an online subscription. The other thing that you can play around with too is Irene was talking about the sample lesson. What's nice is you can go on and it gives you instant access. So you can see what the sample lessons look like, and you're able to scroll through. Another advantage is up here in the search feature, you can actually search the entire curriculum. So if you're just looking for a specific topic area, say for example bullying, you could type bullying into it and it would search the entire curriculum, and you'd be able to see where that's taught in each of the lessons. Another nice thing is kind of like with websites, we've hyperlinked some of the resources. So 14 Tips for Teens handout, you just click on it, bam, it shows up. You're able to print it off, and very easy to go back and forth. We also have the workbook pages, so the student journal that Irene was talking about. Now with the student journal pages, that would actually be a separate license that you would call up Kathy, and then she'd help you to set up a license so that you'd actually be able to distribute the journal pages to the students electronically in some cases. And the advantage of that is it's really difficult for a student to be able to lose an electronic journal because you just email it to them again. Versus with the hard copies, yeah, sometimes they lose it, they forget it, etc. Also with the free Adobe Acrobat program, the students are actually able to fill out and to mark. Even students with disabilities can actually answer stuff electronically. And so there's a lot of advantages to that as well. And then we have the PowerPoint presentations or links to it. So you click on this, it downloads it onto your computer. Another option that's really nice about the digital is that if you're interested in possibly purchasing one of the programs, but you wanted to look at the entire thing first, we actually can give you a 30-day license so that you can review it. Or if you're somebody who owns the Connections, Relationships, and Marriage, and we're about to revise it, and you don't know if you want to pay the extra to upgrade to it, then you can get the 30-day review license, and you'll be able to compare it as well. And so, yeah, so we're very much excited about the digital. We're excited about the revisions coming up. And Kathy, I don't know if anybody has any questions, but that's about all that I have for that.
Unmuted.
Aaron?
Yeah.
Before you take that on I wonder if you can send the screen back to me again.
You bet.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I think we can move forward. I don't see any questions right now.
Okay. Okay, now that I have one other question or area that we haven't talked on before Kathy does her section, and I'm often asked if training is required before implementation of our programs. You buy the program, so often a lot of publishers or program developers require a certification process before you can implement the program. Well, we personally do not have a certification process requirement, but we strongly recommend training in many cases. For example, if you are an organization that has funding to meet specific requirements or aiming to build a rationale for continued funding through measured outcomes, you may very well want to be sure all instructional staff is on the same page with delivery of the program. So what we have prepared for you is we have training to meet your needs and your budget. So we have 3 different kinds of training, and that is either at your site, which is a very customized training, and we have someone who will come to you. We ask especially for our 4 most popular curricula, and that is Love Notes, Relationship Smarts Plus, Connections, Relationships and Marriage, and Connections, Dating and Emotions. We really ask that you plan for 2 days for this because there is a chance to do the strategies and to also look at everybody's mindset going into a relationship education. What pages are they on? We want everyone to be on the same page to build that consistency. We also do it at our site. We're in the process now of planning our first at our site training, hopefully either late fall or I think we will probably do it late fall, but all the details are not quite done yet. And this is training at our location. It is more general because we could have like all of you together at our first training, and you all have different needs, different types of programming that you're doing, but using maybe the same curriculum. So how do we do that? We will teach the curriculum and then give opportunities to meet in like groups to share and strategize. But the training will be less customized. And then finally, I'm really excited about this opportunity for a live curriculum webinar. It will be a 5-hour curriculum webinar that is built for the individual who can't travel, doesn't have the funds for it, and maybe only has a great experience, great education, great foundation in teaching youth, but wants help in getting this implemented and on the road to success. This is a great opportunity for them. I invite you to look at our website, and Kathy's going to talk to you about our newsletter so that you hear about the dates and more information about our training. The services, in order, we have mentioned about tools to make decisions, and case studies are an excellent way of hearing what other organizations like yours are doing. We are in the process of acquiring case studies from various customers. And here are 4 different focus groups that are using our program. And that's Healthy Marriage and Relationship Grant People, and it's Responsible Fatherhood. In fact, we do have a training coming up from National Fatherhood that we did last March and then again this October. So we'll have more news about that too. Runaway and homeless youth. That's another important place to offer relationship skills education, and finally, teen pregnancy prevention. So this might be something that might help you as well. And finally, these are instructional tip sheets. And it's a listing of sheets tip sheets that come from different areas of learning to help you, give you some tips about what others have learned, some of their achievements and good news that they've implemented on their side in general about relationship education. I think that's about it that I'm going to cover. I want you to know that if you ever have any questions regarding upcoming training needs or need a little bit more information on making that decision, that's what I'm here for, to help you decide what program best fits your needs. And I really look forward to being able to talk to you. Kathy, can you take the screen now?
Yes, thanks, Irene. I've got the screen. I'm very excited to be here today, and I'm typically the one that if you call our 1-800 number that you'll see at the bottom of our home page here, I'm typically the person that you will talk with, and I will try to answer your questions. Can take your order online over the phone, and if I can't answer the questions, I can usually guide you to the right colleague that I have that can answer the questions. So I get to do the fun part right now, and I'm real excited about all the free things. Everyone likes the word free, but especially when the free items really have some value. And I want you to look here on the home page, and I invite you to come back and look through all of these resources. You'll see a box here that says free resources, and the first one we have is movie guides. And I'm going to go down one of my favorite movies, and I had to watch it because there was so much talk about it, is Frozen. And I'm sure all of you have had the opportunity. If you haven't, you need to watch that movie and hear the song. But the great thing about our movie guides, and it'll take just a few minutes, I think, to load up here because of the amount of people on the webinar, but it is a guide where you can stop, if you'd like, stop the actual movie or the DVD in the different scenes and actually have discussions. And these are some questions that will trigger discussions for your youth. I've heard people using the movie atmosphere as a reward for something that they want the youth to do or to finish, say finish your journal type thing. I've heard the movie guides also be used as kind of a supplement to a lesson that's already being taught. So there are a lot of ways that you can actually use these movie guides. And as you can see, we're updating these. We have Frozen as being the newest one, but we will also be having more movie guides come out. So keep checking that for sure. Now, if you go back here, you see useful links. I really like this because it has information that you can guide your teens to. If there's something specific that you're looking for, that they're looking for, there are tons of links here, and some of it is online information, some of it's little quizzes they can take. For the teachers, there's a whole list of different resources there. I really want you to go back and look at that. And this is the part I love, because as a parent of one teenager and total of 3 children, 2 that have already passed teenagehood, I love this, that I can go even and look at signs of a healthy relationship, and it'll talk about that and things that I can look for, things that you can look for. And I know that the parents of the teens that you work with, some of the times they're asking for resources. And so that will definitely be a place that you want to look. Now, also on the home page, under the free resources, you see reports. These reports have statistics in them, they have research in them, they have up-to-date issues in them. They're great if you need to talk to your board of directors to validate the need for relationship education or the need for a curricula. It's also good if you're needing background information for a grant. I would suggest that we try to keep these very updated. These are articles that I will talk about in a minute that are from our newsletter as well. So this is kind of a capsize of the different reports. This is a list of our webinars. I'm going to go up here in a minute and talk about our free webinars. We always try to have up-to-date, current webinars that different folks can relate to depending on your setting and depending on the issues that you have. Okay, let's go to services. And Irene mentioned a lot of these, but I do want to go to the grant alerts. This is an important place where we have all different kinds of grant information. As you can see here, the healthy marriage information was at the top in our toolkits, but we update this monthly, if not more regularly than that if something big comes out. You can also find this in our monthly newsletters as well. And talking about newsletters, let's go here to the newsletter. Well, looks like my server's not going to let me look at the newsletter. Let's see if we can go back to it. There we go. We archive all of our newsletters. Our newsletters come out monthly, somewhere between the 1st and the 10th of the month. As you can see here, you can join the newsletter list here. The benefits of the newsletter, and I'm going to do the July newsletter. Whoops, we got to get another issue. Let's see if I can get this up. I'm using the July one. Our tech person is actually out sick, and we haven't gotten the August one up and running. If you did not get the August newsletter and you would like it, please email me and I will send it directly to you. But of course, we mentioned here Dibble in the News, and these are the awards that we receive for different curriculum. If you look down, these are the latest research and articles that for up-to-date issues. News you can use. Our teens adopting adult stress habits. That's something that we all need to look at with our teens, which really affect relationship issues. Tools you can use. Well, here's some more. Free tip sheet, a video you can show. That's really interesting and good for you to know that's here. We always advertise our second Wednesday webinar, and you can actually register here, and our different funding streams, which I talked about before. Now let's go to the webinars. We always have the current webinar listed if you look under current, and you can scroll down. You can register here. We send emails out about the registration as well. But I would like you to really look at the archives, because I have people that call, and sometimes you have issues. I want to know more about love notes. I want to know more about how people in the juvenile justice system are using your programs. Well, this is a great way to go scroll through, and it has a little synopsis, a summary about each webinar. and you can actually view the webinars. We also have the PowerPoint for you to look at, just like we will with this webinar, and we will do any handouts that, like down here, you can see some handouts here for the April 2015. We will also put the handouts that Kay and Irene mentioned beside the archived webinar. A lot of folks are wanting to know, do we do certificates for watching the webinars? Of course we do. If you need a certificate that shows that you actually attended a webinar or watched a webinar archived, please email me and let me know that you need a certificate, and I'll be sure to get that back to you as well. Now, they've left me a couple minutes to talk about the part of ordering. And if you go to the bookstore on the top tab, you can see where you can go right to the digital platform that Aaron was speaking about. And here you can go to the print platform. And I love our bookstore for a number of reasons. One, like most stores online, you can search about anything you want. And if you want love notes, you can search love notes. It'll come up with all the different packaging assortments that we have of love notes. But also like this in particular, Shop By. If you have a particular author that you're looking for, you can shop by the author. Say that you're looking for pregnancy prevention material. Well, right there, go to pregnancy prevention. Then if you click on that, it'll actually open the programs that you could or might be interested in. Different sources. We actually publish a lot of our materials, but we also carry things that other organizations publish. Now, this is one of my favorites because I know that sometimes if you're in a group, you want something different or something that might supplement some of the curriculum that you're using. You might see in a program, say in Love Notes, you might see something about toothpaste DVD, where you can go here. If you click on that, it'll show you how to purchase the toothpaste DVD. Say you're having a booth at your college and you want to be able to hand out something. Well, there you go. Click right on the brochures. And then the other thing is shop by age. So that's right there. You can have the different age groups. If you click on there, it'll give you the different materials that are typically, and I say typically because you may find that your 8th graders are more mature and you might be interested more in one that we actually have said is for 9th and 12th grade. But that gives you kind of an age group. Again, our programs are here. Everybody likes a sale. When we are trying to reduce inventory, I have programs that are excellent or resources or supplements. We put them here in this box. And specials, this is a way we have special packaging of love notes where if you buy certain things together, the price will actually be cheaper. Now, excuse me, we take purchase orders, we take checks, and we take all credit cards. You can send me a email with your purchase order, or you can fax a purchase order to us. And if you look on the bottom, once again, on the bottom of any of these pages, you'll see our fax number. And my email is Kathy with a C @gmail.com. We also take orders in the mail. You can always call me and get the information that you need. And of course, we always take it here through the bookstore. I think that's about it. Just know that after you do an order on the bookstore, you will know your order went through when you get a confirmation. If you do not get that confirmation, give me a call. The phone numbers are all over this website to get in touch with me. So feel free to call me. And if you have any questions or want to chat more about some of the programming, again, that's why I'm here. I'm here to serve you and try to help you meet your needs with your teens that you're working with and young adults, and feel free to call me. So that's all I have on the bookstore. Does anyone have any questions for me? Are there any questions for anyone that has spoken today? In my little question box. I don't think we have any questions. We must have done a really good job, y'all. Well, let me kind of finish up here. and if you have any questions, feel free to call me or email us. And these are our emails. You've got Irene.
Kathy, there you go.
Kathy, we've got Irene, Kathy, and mine. Of course, we can connect you with Kay as well. We have recorded this webinar. We will have it in PowerPoint, and we will also have the handouts available. I will try to have it up to you for you by Monday afternoon. Please wait. There's a very brief survey after this webinar. That helps us kind of understand what information you might need or how we can make the webinars better and more useful for you. I am really excited about this September webinar. It is entitled Healthy Relationship Education with Disconnected Youth. And the exciting thing is with Vanessa Mahia, I believe, and it's with the Diaspora Community Services organization that's located in Brooklyn, New York. They serve a really highly diverse population, and what they do is provide essential health and supportive services in central Brooklyn. One part of their programming is to implement youth programs, and those programs that they implement we'll learn more about and how they use Dibble products, but they design those so that they will empower the youth and they will actually educate the youth. So I'm really interested in seeing what kind of populations they work with, because they have they reach a wide variety of youth for sure. And again, we'd love to keep in touch with you. You can go to our website as we've been doing today. You can subscribe to our newsletter. We've given you lots of opportunities and places to do that. We've got a Facebook page that Dixie runs for us. Feel free to join that. Follow us on LinkedIn. Our website is here and our 1-800 number. So, Kay, do you have anything else that you'd like to share before we end?
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for attending. We appreciate you coming. We realize this is all about us, and normally we don't do all about us, but we thought it would be helpful so that you could be more successful by knowing where to get the resources and the research and kind of understand what we're doing. And I would follow up with what Kathy said, which is subscribe to our newsletter that comes out monthly. It's how we disseminate grants and research, and it's really the key to staying in touch with the Dibble Institute. So again, thank you all for attending, and thank you for my colleagues for a great webinar. We'll see you next month.
Okay, bye. Looking forward to talking with you.